This week, it's about gear. It's about gear made in the USA with T&K Hunting's Tyler Kath. Welcome in, Gun Talk Hunters. I'm your host, KJ. And today we've got a special guest. Actually, this is the first time I've ever talked to him in person, which it's a great honor for me to welcome in Tyler Kath of T&K Hunting Gear. Welcome in, Tyler.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. It's good to be here.
Man, it's really cool, and I've got a great backstory on how I came to know T&K Hunting Gear, and hopefully, I know if you listen to the channel, you've heard me mention them multiple times, but I finally get Tyler on the phone and on the Zoom call. So if you're just listening over our normal channels, do yourself a favor. Come see the man, the myth, the legend on our YouTube or Facebook pages, wherever you're at. But before we get into it, I'm going to go ahead and tell you this Gun Talk Hunt is brought to you by ATN, the future of optics, Sig Sauer, Gun Delio, and Silencer Central, silence delivered. All right, we're going to jump in. And first, Tyler, just give us a little bit of your background and a little background on T&K Hunting Gear.
So right out of high school, about a month after graduating high school, I joined the Marine Corps. I was an infantry Marine in 0311, did several combat tours to Helmand Province, Afghanistan. After getting out, I just Marine Corps. After getting out, I worked corrections for about a year in my local hometown here in Rapid City, South Dakota. And after that, I kind of got the itch to do some overseas contracting. The money was good, so I went to personal security specialist school down in Arkansas, working through the Department of State, and went overseas to Afghanistan again and did private military, private security for a little bit. And once I got sick of that and sick of being in, living most of my 20s in Afghanistan, I decided to come back to Rapid City, and I became a police officer for 5 years. And during that time of being a police officer is kind of when I started T&K Hunting Gear back in 2018. So that's kind of the beginning of it. I've kind of, people ask me a lot, like, how did you get into gear making and all that good stuff? And I think, mostly for me, it's just been with all my experience in the military and law enforcement, having used a wide variety of gear. And then, of course, being a hunter as well. I just didn't see a lot of, and you still kind of don't, but going into big box stores and stuff like that, you just don't see a lot of the gear made out of the same materials that we use, that a lot of law enforcement gear is made out of, military gear is made out of. And I always kind of wondered that, because hunters need kind of that extra durability factor, just like military and law enforcement. And that's kind of what got me into the game of making gear. And I've kind of always had an interest of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the start of everything.
Well, we could jump right into that, because all the T&K Hunting Gear is made in the USA. How important is it to you to maintain that brand of being made in the USA?
Well, it's 100% important for me, because not only being a military veteran, there's a lot of military-owned companies that like to throw that out in the hunting industry, but their stuff's getting made in Vietnam, China, different countries overseas. And, for me, I'm a patriot through and through, bleed red, white, and blue. And I think it's the utmost importance. I think we've kind of seen that since COVID-19, and now you look at inflation and everything else, it really brings out the importance of domestic manufacturing and making sure that we're providing for our own economy and our own people and providing good paying jobs. So I don't just walk the walk, I talk the talk. When I say, I love America and, I signed up willing to die for it. I mean, the same goes for how I do things here. I mean, it's America or bust for me. You know, my priority is, you know, if I can't get it made here, I'll just go out of business. I'll go do something else. You know what I mean? And that's just,
Right.
you know, everything from our shirts that we made, you know, we just got a new batch of shirts in. It's made in USA shirts, you know. Yeah, you're paying, you know, $19 a shirt, but, you know,
It's
walk
here.
the walk. You got to walk the walk. I mean, if you're going to do it, you got to do it the right way. I mean,
Well, and that's it's, man, in today's climate, it's got to be hard. I mean, it's just got to be hard to be able to pull that off because, like you said, all your components, all your buckles, everything like that. That stuff ain't cheap here.
it is not. Nope. We, you know, the mesh that we use, just for an example, on a lot of the mesh you see on the back of the backpacks for the backpack shoulder pads, bino harness, we use a lot of it. You know, it went up to, we were paying like $13.99 a yard, and now it went up to like 15 and a half a yard, $15.50 per yard. Now imagine we're using about, you know, about a yard on a backpack.
Right.
So that's $15.50 on just one little piece of item. And it's pretty interesting because we've had companies that have found us and have sent us samples to us, and it's like $3.99, $2.99 per yard for the same stuff that's made overseas. So, you know, when people give me crap about our backpacks and, you know, being 300 and some dollars, or binos or bow slings, you know, or bow slings, $135, $140, you have to put that into perspective that, you know, buying domestic sourced materials such as that, you know, your webbing, your thread, I mean, sometimes it's triple the price. I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty outstanding to look at those prices and think, wow. I mean, if you used all even foreign components and even made it here, I mean, you could probably sell that bino harness for $75, $80. You know what I mean?
And yeah, I just
go ahead.
It blows me away because I think I'm on my fourth bino harness and rangefinder piggybacker from you guys. And I want to preface this. This is not because it wears out. It's because I like them so much. I start giving my stuff away to other people because I'm like, you gotta like try this.
Yeah.
And I'm about to buy more stuff because I've got an Alaska hunt coming up. That's going to require gators. And there's only one set of gators you really need, and that's T&K Hunting Gear. But that's where I kind of found you guys through, I guess it was because I was on a rock slide forum and I was like, oh, who's it? T&K? Because I see, you know, they review a lot of stuff. They do a really good job of reviews and stuff. And I knew Jordan over there. And so I kind of just talked to her. I was like, hey, because she was at the SIG Hunter Games last year and I had met up with her and I was like, well, what do you think? And I got to looking at it and I got to actually kind of start playing with it. And within a year, I had already bought 4 different sets. So maybe it's like an addiction out of my part, but like you guys offer a wide range of colors. And it's all, it looks sharp, but it's more, it's all functional. And how did you like start coming up with the design of your bino harness first? Because is that where it all started, is really the bino harness?
Yeah, that's where it really kind of started. And when I first started the company in 2018, I was looking for gear ideas of stuff to make. And people kept saying, hey, you know, make a bino harness, make a bino harness. And we had, you know, initially started with it was like a weird upland tactical vest type thing. We didn't really know what we were doing. It didn't really sell much. And of course, you know, it's not even one of our products now. And that's kind of how we started. But the bino harness is, you know, kind of what started it all. And our Gen 1 was kind of really my first attempt at designing gear and stuff like that. And of course, there was a lot of flaws with it because it was kind of my rookie design and my first product. And, you know, a lot of these big companies hire engineers to design and manufacture this gear. And I'm just like a stupid crane eating Marine that, uses a pen and a piece of paper to design this stuff. I don't have like expensive CAD programs, and all of my designs, gators and stuff like that have just been like pen and paper with some cardboard.
No kidding.
And it usually, yeah, I don't use any type of programs. It's very like old school the way I do things. And I don't claim to be some like, gear whiz or some top designer or anything like that. It takes us, like this day pack that we made, it took us 15, 20 times of sewing it before we got it right. So, I mean, it's one of those trial and error type things. And, it's never going to look good or work good the first time. But going back to kind of what I was saying is that we started with this bino harness, and it was one of the old school, kind of everybody's going to the forward opening design. I mean, it's just kind of what everybody's doing. But it was initially that, where you open it towards you. And as we got feedback, people were saying we had a 1.5-inch buckle and webbing. People are like, yeah, you need to go to a 1-inch. And I was like, okay, well, I was getting enough feedback on it. So I was like, well, I'll go to a 1-inch. And then people were like, well, because we had a one size fits all. Well, of course we had to make it bigger so that, bigger glass, like
Right.
18 powers and stuff could fit in there. Well, people are like, I've got a 10 by 42, I've got an 8 by 42, I've got a 12 by 42. So I need, it swims in there. So I was like, okay, well, now we need to come out with three different sizes. Well, we got 4 now, but 3 different, sizes. So we kind of worked on that. And then people were like, man, that flap is just a pain in the ass. Is there any way you can, do a forward opening? And I'm like, okay. So, we're the type of company, we like, all the feedback we get from customers, we actually change things all the time. We initially, even with the Gen 2 harness, we had elastic that held in the buckles on the sides and on the top. And now we've gone to a webbing because the elastic stretches out and wears out. Well, we got a lot of feedback on that. And so as we grow as a company, I mean, we kind of, our gear kind of evolves, as we get feedback from customers, because, customers are the most important thing. And there's a lot of companies that, you'll say, hey, you should fix this, you should fix that, and a lot of companies just, well, nah, it's too much work. But, for us, we like to definitely change things to make the gear better. We're all about making the gear as best as possible. And so going forward, that's just kind of, we've done that with the gators too. We've done it pretty much with every piece of gear. I mean, the gators, when you order and that you get, I mean, that's like a Gen 30, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things to where, we're constantly just, when we first came out with the gators, I mean, it's not even the people that got the first sets are not even how we do it now. I mean, it's just completely different. So, I mean, we're pretty good with that, with, kind of making the changes and making the gear better. But the bino is definitely what kind of started it all, man. I mean, that's what kind of got us on the map initially. And so, yeah, it's been, I mean, really coming on 4 years now. So
yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite. Now, Tyler, I'm going to jump in here real quick. We've got some sponsors that we need to definitely take care of. We'll let you grab a drink real quick, and we'll be back real quick. Silencer Central. If you ever wanted a silencer, suppressor, whatever you decide to call them, well, Silencer Central has you covered because they send it all to your house. Yes, even the suppressor. So when you're looking for your next suppressor, visit silencercentral.com. Pick out your suppressor, maybe the Banish 30, maybe the Banish 46. But whatever you choose, they'll send you the fingerprint cards. You'll send them a photo. You do it all electronically for the e-forms process, and they'll send it right to your door. They even manage the truss for the entirety of the lifetime of the truss. So visit silencercentral.com Sig Sauer. We talk a lot about the cross, and I have a cross, and I love it. I absolutely love that thing because you know what? It's efficient, and it works, and it's lightweight. It's a 6.5 Creedmoor. Yes, the ultimate man bun gun out there. But did you know they have a new 10 millimeter, which I am absolutely fascinated with, 5-inch barrel, 20+1. So that's a lot of rounds. I think you get 2 mags with that. But if you're looking for a cross or the new SIG P320 and 10 millimeter, visit sigsauer.com. And ATN, yes, they are the future of optics because they have the coolest night vision. They've got thermal. And if you're looking to transition from your regular night vision setup, which is great. So I like to tell people, look at thermal because nothing hides. You know, if they go outside your distances with the night vision, that's not a problem with thermal because you're going to be able to pick them up at further distances with the heat signature that they are emitting. And I tell you what, the Thor 4 is probably one of my favorites. Now, if you're looking to get something, maybe a monocular, I would suggest looking at the OTS HD. A thermal monocular is a great way to scan the fields before you enter. Just make sure you're checking those state regulations on where you use thermal and when you use thermal or electronic devices like that. But anyway, visit atncorp.com to find out more. That's atncorp.com. All right, we're back with Tyler Kath of T&K Hunting Gear, and I was gonna like kind of tee it up, but I forgot to do that. But what I'd like to talk about is like the reason why I like a slimline vinyl harness, because I've got a couple of them that I've tested out in the future or in the past, where that front opening pocket, it lays open, it's big, it's bulky. And what you guys are doing is you've kind of slimlined, and that's important for guys who like to spot and stock or who like to be on the move quite a bit. You know, guys like Aaron Snyder, those types that are just always on the move. They're constantly, you know, aggressing towards that critter. And magnetic closures, my gosh, like why everyone doesn't do that is beyond me.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think part of the reason, and we get a lot of, questions and concerns on this, is magnetics interfering with navigational devices, compasses and stuff like that. Well, we've tested them a lot, and you basically have to like put it right up to the magnet to get really any type of interference. Old military trick that we used to do is just hold it at arm's width, not a big deal, and you'll get accurate readings. Sometimes people try to make their lives harder than what it has to be. So,
to extend the arm a little bit of ways is pretty tough work for a lot of folks these days.
It's asking a lot, especially when you're on a 15-mile backcountry hunt. You know what I mean? It's so extra calories. Yeah, it's extra calories you don't want to expend. But we get that a lot. We get that a lot to where it's like, well, but what's great about our design too is that, we have made it very smaller compared to other comparable brands on the market. And, what you'll notice about the way our lid folds forward is that you don't have that interference of like trying to attach it way to the bottom or anything like that. It's a really quick, you know what I mean? Yes. To where it doesn't, it's very fast, and you don't have to worry about it being big or lunky or anything like that. We've made it that way on purpose. A lot of people are like, well, I'd like pockets here, pockets there. And I'm like, well, we made it that way is so that, some guys don't want those attachment pockets. They want it as streamlined as possible. Maybe they have range finding binos, so they don't need a rangefinder pouch.
Right.
So it makes it good for them to where they don't have to have that extra bulk. There's some bino harnesses out there where it looks like a damn mini day packs on your chest. I mean, it's just huge and bulky, and they loosen, the buckles loosen a lot. So the next thing you know, you've got a lot of sag going on. With ours, a little bit different, where it fits tighter to your chest. It's way more compact than a lot of designs out there, and we make it that way on purpose especially for the bow hunter.
Right.
We want you to not have any interference with, like you said, spot and stock. If you're crawling, or if you're, when you're drawing your bow back, I mean, that's super important not to get any type of interference or have to, in the back of your head, worry about any type of, interference with drawing your bow. Because all you should be really worried about is drawing that bow back and having a good shot. You shouldn't have to worry about gear interfering with that. And if it is, then you should probably get some new equipment if you're worried about that stuff interfering. So
well and quick. And I'm going to tell everybody right now, and Tyler's going to hate me for it, but if you're thinking about it, like, now's the time to start purchasing this type of stuff, like, because you're going to want to practice with it on. And that's something that, you practice like what you dress out in the field. It's just like going through game day walkthroughs. But you practice with this stuff and feel how it conforms to your body and how it fits outside of your jacket, or are you going to run it inside? So there's little things you got to figure out. Because when you reach out to T&K and go give them a follow on Instagram. I love following Tyler on the Instagram page. But what you're getting Tyler. Like, you're actually, when you, and I think that's really cool. And you didn't know me from Adam, and you were just, I mean, it was a great conversation. I was like, hey man, you want to come on the show? You didn't hesitate, which was awesome. But I think that's unique for a company that's growing as fast as yours, is that you have a direct line to your customers, which you don't get that a lot.
No. And I think, a lot of the humor you see on the page, because we like to have, some humorous posts, and, it's not for everybody, you know what I mean?
No,
but it's not for everybody. I mean, you do get Tyler, because I am a very, it's a very, like, maybe it's kind of the veteran humor, the law enforcement humor, to where it's just, I'm not, the type of guy that's afraid to kind of say my mind, say what's on my mind. And so a lot of people appreciate it, though, because you're not going to get the BS. You know what I mean? I'm not going to BS you. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm one of those guys. I'm very open. I'm very honest. And some people don't like that. Some people like being told what they want to hear. I'm not that type of person.
You're definitely not that guy.
You're not that guy. Yeah, I'm not that guy.
What I think is another cool thing, and I should have said this up front, the bino harnesses that I've purchased and that I will continue to purchase, they're not on a pro program. They're not on a discounted program. I'm paying full price just like anyone else would, because and I believe that in my gear that I purchase, I don't go reaching out to people saying, hey, can I get a deal? That's not how T&K works. And that's not how a company that believes in their product really does things. Just a heads up. Like, it's that it's important to me. It's good gear, and that's why I pay full price, and I don't mind doing it.
And we get a lot of those guys to where these days that's what it's becoming. It's give it to all these Instagram people, and that's what you do. And
we'll talk about your product, I swear.
Yeah. And for us, it becomes like a part of we want to be genuine, and the only people that get a discount on our page are law enforcement, military, nurses, healthcare workers, and that's the type of stuff we like doing. And we've done in the past where we do a lot of donations to veteran organizations, and we do a lot of donations to conservation programs. I mean, we're pretty big on that. But yeah, we're one of those one of those companies that we want you to use our products and buy our products because they're good, because they're functional, because they're durable, because we stand behind them, because you believe in what we do here. I had to post the other day to where one guy was like, well, I would never pay that for a backpack and blah, blah, blah. And he was, throwing out some bigger brands that manufacture overseas. And, that's not our customer base. I mean, it's our customer base are a lot of people from Kafaru, or a lot of people from, some different other smaller made in the USA companies that believe in what we're doing and understand what we're doing and want to support that. And, if you're going to compare our bino harness or our backpack or our leg gaiters to something that's made overseas, I mean, it's like comparing apples to oranges, man. I mean, you just can't do it. I mean, it's two completely different products made completely different materials. And, but part of that is our education. That's why I post a lot of that stuff on our Instagram to basically say it's education for me to say, hey, this is how we do things here. We don't do things like them and like them. And I don't pretend that we can compete with those prices. Like, it's not, if our stuff was priced at that level, we wouldn't be in business, or we would be manufacturing overseas. I mean, it's just, that's just how it is. But a lot of it's education. And I think it helps people better understand how we do things here.
Right.
And
I'm not dogging companies that, give away discounts and stuff like that. That wasn't the point of that statement. And that works for a lot of people. But I think most guys that I talk about TNK with, they're gravitated towards the story, towards the quality of product, I think, that you're getting. And you're paying a little bit more, but it's worth it. Like, it's gear that will last you a lifetime. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Well, and it's better, we talk about leg gaiters, a lot of guys will say, well, I can get these for $70, $80, but a lot of those gaiters, I mean, people are always complaining, man, I shredded through them in a season. And by the time you buy another pair, if you're going to, you're at our price.
Right.
You know what I mean? So why not just be, buy once, cry once, like we've said, and at least try them. I mean, it's a 30-day return policy. If you get them and you take that thing out and you're like, man, that wasn't worth the price I bought it for, send it back.
I'll buy it.
There ain't gonna be no harm. There ain't gonna be no hard feelings, because there's guys like you and a lot of other guys that are gonna buy it and that have ran, our gear gurus and have run through a lot of gear, and they're like, no, that's top of the line type stuff. You know what I mean? And our gear's not going to be for everybody. I get it. A lot of the ultralight hunters that are super focused on every single gram, it doesn't matter how many times I tell them, dude, I've worn these leg gaiters on 10-mile trips, and you forget about them. Like, it doesn't even feel like they're on anymore, but they're so focused on that weight before they initially buy, or they're so focused on that price that, I try to tell people, I'm like, we've got payment plans that you can make on gear. If you're going to make a $400 purchase on gear, make $400 purchases. You know what I mean? Like, over 2 weeks, over 4 or 5 weeks. Like, you don't have to blow your load, on $500 worth of gear. Kafaru does the same thing. Just make every 2 week, make purchases, or make a payment. There's no shame in it, man. Like, you can afford good gear, but it's just, you got to get people to understand that, and usually it takes them buying the cheap stuff before they're like, okay, I'm not doing that again.
And that's what I've been through. I got to a point where I was like, you know what? It just save an extra paycheck and just put a little bit more towards it. And that's fine. But it's all quality stuff. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with next. I know, like, it's really cool if you follow the Instagram page. So Tyler, give them where to find out more about T&K Hunting Gear.
So you can find us on Instagram, or you can just type in T&K Hunting Gear. Same with Facebook. And then we do have a YouTube page. We don't post a lot of videos on it. It's something that we're actually going to be working on. We want to do more videoed hunts and stuff like that we're going to be uploading here this year. So we're going to start kind of growing that. So if you check us out on there, you'll see a lot of our stuff on there as well. So
that'll be great. Again, you guys go check out the website. They've got everything from duffel bags to to EDC belts to dog collars, leg gaiters, bow slings, rifle accessories. They got a lot of stuff, and I know new stuff's coming down the pipe, but it's all made in the USA, veteran owned. And Tyler, man, thanks for joining us.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, man.
All right. We'll keep up with you. We'll be closer to the hunting season when you're about to pull your hair out. We'll definitely hit you back up. But T&K Hunting Gear is Tyler, Kath. Thank you guys. I Gun Talk Hunters, you know it. Keep those muzzles pointing in a safe direction and always be on the hunt.